welcome into Command Center. I'm Julie Donaldson. Coming up later in this show, Logan Paulsen and Shawn Springs will be joining me. And minicamp, it is all wrapped up. So there is one final break before all the players return for the official start of training camp at the end of July. And head coach Ron Rivera is entering his third season at the helm of the Burgundy and Gold and looks to hopefully get his team back to the playoffs for the second time in 3 years. Here he is with Logan Paulsen.
What is the technique you're looking for there?
Well, it all depends on your situation.
Okay, all right.
Okay, if I'm coming straight downhill and you're coming off a double, I know I've got to get to you before you disengage. If you disengage,
off the double, you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you're on the double and you haven't disengaged yet, I can come in and I can use a shoulder, or I can use a long arm.
So let's say I'm on the double right here.
Okay, you're on the double. If I get there before you come off that double, I can just go ahead and dip and rip right on through.
Okay.
If you're starting to come off and I can long arm you and I can get you, if that shoulder's still exposed before you have a chance to get, I can just easily push by you. Now, you come off full, now we're square.
Yeah, we're square.
Now that's where we've got to talk about using proper technique and leverage.
Okay, so what do we got?
As I come in, one of the things I want to do is I want to be able to measure it, take my face mask, my hands, and just put it right into here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Are you
right
hitting with the hat
here.
too, or no?
No, I'm just trying to connect right here. Why? Because if I engage this way, what happens is I lose vision.
I see. And the back can go wherever.
Correct. But if I play with my hands initially, and whatever happens from this point, I can now locate. But the biggest thing I have to do is I have to defeat you first. One of the biggest mistake I watch guys do is they go like this.
And oh, right, yes.
That's where you get in trouble. So if I come in, I'm focused in this way, and I strike you here, okay, and I work through it, I can now locate.
And do you care about the linebacker getting washed at all? Like, I mean, they're in their gap, but do you care about them getting displaced horizontally?
No, because what happens is if I come here and I strike you, okay, and if I strike you with this foot getting down at the right time, I shouldn't get washed.
I see.
If I got this foot up in the air and I strike, now I'm going to take that long step. Exactly.
Absolutely.
So it's about getting yourself in position using the same hand, same foot, shoulder technique. Okay, so if my right leg's going down, I should be striking with my right side. That's where I've got all my power, and everything's going linear in one direction.
And then you got to shed and make the tackle, right?
Correct.
And that's all, like you're here, and then what are we doing, rips, tight swims?
Well, a lot of it depends, again. It's how you feel. If this guy's trying to get wide, okay, I might try and rip through, or I might just try to shrug him off to one side. But if I see him coming down as I strike, all I got to do is just get enough separation so that I flash, and he comes right into me, and now I can strike and finish.
Finish that tackle. Coach, thank you so much, man. I'm excited for OTAs, and I think you're excited too. Really appreciate the time.
You're welcome.
Thanks, man.
Coach obviously kind of relishing in the fact that all of his guys are pretty much here, but he's been very vocal saying that it takes 3 to 5 years to turn a team around to kind of get it to the way he wants it. Well, here he is now in year 3. The first few years, just 7 wins. What is that next step in progression that we are to the point that they have consistency in the coaching staff? They have the roster, the players that they want pretty much now, Shawn. This is Ron Rivera's team and where he wants them to go. What is that next step for them?
And I think when you keep the staff intact and you have some players who can actually build off what they've learned or the mindset that Coach tried to install in the organization, they get it down. And then when you add Carson Wentz, that type of leadership, that live arm, you know, with the young talent around it, Coach is finally starting to see his footprint, his fingerprint all over the team. And I think it should be a pretty exciting year for the organization because they know what he expects.
Yeah, and I think that addition of Carson Wentz is really the catalyst for kind of my optimistic approach to this season, right? It hasn't looked great, but they've had a lot of struggles at the position. Everyone knows quarterback position, most important position in football. So I think the expectation is now is that they're a playoff contending team who might win a game in the playoffs, which hasn't been done in a very long time. So it'd be great to see that happen.
2005 was the last time that they had won a game in the postseason. Shawn, you were on that roster.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, here's the expectation: you're building towards something, and that doesn't just happen overnight. And both of you kind of mentioned Carson Wentz there. Like the first few years, I feel like this team was really building around what they thought the strength of the team was defense. We'll get to that in a second, but let me get to like, what does Carson bring? Why is this offense going to be that much more advanced with him?
Well, I think Carson Wentz coming in top, highly drafted. #1 overall pick, he can make every throw. Where Heineke, a smaller in stature, I thought he was a great player, but he didn't have the pocket presence of Carson Wentz. And also, you hear about his leadership. You talk about a guy who's Peyton-esque type leadership and command. I think that that installs a little more confidence probably in what we've had in the past for the offense to go out there and feel like we can get it done. We can do everything we want to do, that Scott Turner wants to put in.
Well, you said something that I thought was really interesting. You said you kept a notebook, right?
Right.
It had all the little deep
Right.
ball elements of what a quarterback can do. And you said, oh, if Heineke's quarterback, I can be a little bit more conservative. I don't need to worry about that deep ball. With Carson Wentz, you got to worry about the deep ball. And this whole offense is cultivated around pushing the ball vertically down the field to create space in the horizontal aspect of the game. So now you have a guy who can make these throws, push the ball on the field, take advantage of Terry McLaurin, Johan Dodson, Curtis Samuels, that vertical speed. And this offense, just through OTAs, looks drastically different, which is so exciting. It's an NFL offense now, which gives me hope. They're not only relying on the defense anymore.
Well, the defense last season, they had a few bumps and bruises along the way. And even as defensive coordinator, Jack Del Rio said it was a bit underwhelming for their talent. So there's going to be a big focus on them this year as well, coming together and making sure that they click and that they run as they are expected to be able to do. So if you get both together, well, then you might have that complete team that does make it to the postseason. Now, if we're talking about defense, well, working his way back onto the field is none other than Chase Young. He suffered an ACL injury in Week 10 of the 2021 season. The former Defensive Rookie of the Year, he's been working with the training staff, rehabbing, and eager to get back to work. I had the chance to sit down with Young to get an update on his recovery. What's it like being back in the building? Get to see some of the guys you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, man, it feels good. Just coming back, getting on the field, just feeling that energy, watching the guys run around. Feels good. So I'm happy to be back, happy to, work with my team, and my teammates, and, just really ready to play, man. I'm anxious to get back on there, so I'm just busting my butt.
Where are you in that? Let's talk about it, because it was Week 10, you go down, and we see the scars, we know you're rehabbing and working hard, but where are you in that process?
Yeah, I'm running, so I'm in that stage right now, but it's a lot more to go, obviously. So right now I'm just taking it, one day at a time, and just trying to, get back on my team, get back running around with them.
One of your former teammates went through this as well, Nick Bosa. He came back 15.5 sacks. Do you have conversations to, because at those moments where you're like, man, this is hard and you miss it, to know what still lies ahead of you?
Yeah, I feel like all it really did was remind me, stay in that grind, and, it just reminded me what it was all about. And, I love it. I'm just going to keep going and keep grinding it out. And I know I'm going to see gold at the end of the tunnel.
Does that then allow you to maybe see the game differently? Definitely. From the sideline, it's definitely different. And, that's why, going back, I'm just trying to get my 2 cents. If, it says if his first step is short off the line, I'll let him know. Just little tips to just try to help him be the best player he can. How do you think that will impact your game when you do return? A lot. Even now I have just a lot more time to, watch old film from last year. When you have a big injury, it kind of just reminds you that, things can happen. And it's, really how you respond. And I feel like, even right now, I'm doing all the right things, responding. Something like this, never really brought me down, too much. Obviously, I was sad because I got injured, but, I look at it on the bright side. I know when I come back, my leg is going to be the strongest they ever been, because I'm focused on my legs way more. So I try to be real optimistic and look on the bright side of things and, not go into a hole and, be sad and mad. So far from that. So, but just excited to just be back. There's a lot of mental up and downs in this league without even having to go through injury, but we're glad to have you back here with your teammates. We know that's important, and I'm sure you guys will have some good laughs too. Pick you up. Oh yeah, we already been having them. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you back on that field soon. Yes, ma'am. Of course, we cannot wait to see Chase return to the field, and, well, we can't wait for the rest of the show to come as well. We're going to go to the other side of the ball and see how quarterback Carson Wentz is adjusting to his new teammates. And, well, speaking of Carson, head on over to commanders.com to read our story about how can the newest quarterback help take Washington's offense to the next level. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Command Center. We're getting closer to the start of the season, and football cannot be played without the footballs. Here's Logan Paulson and Santana Moss in the kitchen.
All right, so welcome everybody. Today we're going to talk about all the different footballs that people use at practice and on game day, and we're going to start here with the first one. This is a football straight out of the box. They got the little symbol here. Under here is a chip that gives you all the information you need, like ball velocity, ball distance, all that stuff. But Tanner, what do you think of that ball? If you had to catch that ball, what would you say?
It looks good, and it's not broken in. So this is one of those balls that I normally sign or autograph. So don't want to see it in practice or the game.
And it's slick, right? It's got some like weird stuff on it, right? And I hate catching a football like that.
Yeah.
So what they do is they go to this football here, and this is the quarterback ball. And what they do is they put baseball dirt on this sucker. They grind it down. I was with a ball guy who would he'd take it home and sleep with it. He'd put it in the shower. He'd put it in the oven, try to get it the right consistency, right texture, right? It feels good. There's some little, you can see the divots on here, right? So the quarterback can grip it, so the receiver can grip it. It's an excellent football to catch. I love this. I just feeling it's like sticky in the hand.
Balls normally I take home and my kids find a way to scuff them up.
Oh, that's the worst, right? It's like the basketball, right? It's not quite right. But that was the quarterback ball, and then this is the kicker ball, right? And the kicker ball is interesting because you only have an hour to get this ball right, exactly the way the kicker wants it, right? And kickers, you know, are very particular about what they will be kicking. And this one they try to smooth out this ball, right? They maybe get a little wet, kind of grind it down. They got a brush they can use, try to get that nice and smooth. They try to get the shape to kind of look like a soccer ball, so it's nice aerodynamic. I actually think this is a really nice kicking ball, even to catch.
Yeah, similar to a rugby ball, almost not quite as big, but it's one of those feels that I can always tell a difference. You know, when I catch punts, I'm like, that ball just feels like different. It's got a little more inflation, and it's one of those things about it that you get used to this kind of ball because you don't really have to grip it. It just sits in your arms.
So when you were catching punts, did you have to catch like the kicking ball beforehand? No, yeah.
You always go out there and get familiar with it because you want to know what you're going to be catching, you know? And I love it.
And then Tana, what do you think about this ball? This is the worst ball. If someone gives you this ball, they actually hate you. Okay, because this is the Jugs ball. It's an old kicking ball. It's completely smooth. They actually pump it up extra, so it's like catching a brick. And so when they got the Jugs going after practice, this is what you're catching. I remember catching these and my fingers would sting because the balls are so hard, so firm. And again, like it's just this really gross football. So if someone ever gives you that, you say, no, thank you. I want a quarterback ball, a kicking ball, maybe even a ball out of the box. But that is the worst ball. I mean, look at this thing. It's gross.
It stinks.
But yeah, so those, and you can even see where the Jugs machine was rubbing on it right there, kind of making those weird lacerations on it. But those are 4 different types of footballs that would be used in practice and obviously on game day.
And now we know a lot of different footballs used in just one game. Now we also know that we have a new quarterback in town in, well, Mr. Carson Wentz. He's on his 3rd team in as many years, coming over from the Indianapolis Colts, but of course he was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles to be their franchise guy. So he understands the magnitude of how important this year is for him to find success here in his new home in Washington, D.C. I had the opportunity to catch up with Carson after OTAs. In what way is it different for you being that like older guy, as you say?
Yeah, I think the first time I walked in here, it was just like, this seems like a younger kind of nucleus of a team, a younger locker room. You know, for me, approaching 30, like just there's only a couple guys that are even in their 30s in that locker room. So it's just different. It's different from a leadership perspective. You know, a lot of younger guys. You know, our quarterback Sam was born in 2000. So when I was asking him his birthday, I'm like, dang, you just turned 21, making me feel old. But it's fun. It's fun to just kind of see guys coming in with different ages, different perspectives, different outlooks on life, and hopefully as a veteran and as a leader, you know, kind of help bring them along the right way.
You've been in a few locker rooms over your career, probably starting from the early on days in Pee Wee. But what is your approach when you're getting and kind of having to learn a new team, knowing you're going to be the guy that has to lead them?
Yeah, just want to be around the guys and build relationships. You know, everyone's different story, different upbringing, different place in life, different hobbies, you know, different everything. And that's why I love this game, to be honest, because we all come together for one common goal out in the field, but also in the locker room, you know, whether it's off the field, going to dinner, going to lunches, going golfing with guys, you know, just being around them, having fun, going to Topgolf. We did that team event a couple weeks ago. Those things are fun to just kind of break down some barriers, build some relationship, build some chemistry, and just really let guys know that you see them and you care about them and you value that relationship. And hopefully that always translates on the field, but if not, you know, at the end of the day, building these relationships, they last way longer than football.
I want to ask you about, of course, on the field, what you expect and what you've seen from the guys, but who has the best golf game so far?
Probably Tress.
Oh, yeah. Well,
probably Tress.
He's got a little time to go out there and play golf. When it does come to on the field, how has it kind of just been adjusting to the new offense, the new players, new schemes and all of that?
It's been fun. You know, little things different here and there from what I'm used to. You know, going into year 7, I feel like I've seen a lot of football, you know, seen different schemes and different ways to attack defenses, and so it's nothing really, there's no reinventing the wheel here per se, but just seeing Coach Turner's kind of philosophy, how he wants to stretch the ball down the field and stress defenses, and with the playmakers and the speed that we have on offense, it's been fun to kind of see just glimpses of how it's going to look. Obviously it's OTA, so you're kind of throwing stuff out there, seeing what sticks and seeing what's going to work, but it's been fun to see the kind of creativity and the dynamic ability that I think we have and we'll be able to bring to the table this fall.
Coach, one thing that they love about you and that they really wanted to do with this team is be able to stretch the field. And everybody already is just raving about your arm. How is it kind of adjusting to some of the playmakers and being able to take advantage of that? Because that's what we keep hearing. Like, Carson's on point. His arm is legit.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's something from really the moment the trade happened and talking to Coach Turner. Just knowing his philosophy, he wants to push it down the field, you know, take advantage of that, and then combine that with the talent and the speed that we already have here on the roster with those receivers and the running backs, tight ends, really everybody getting involved, and something I've always loved doing. You know, I think we all love the big play. We all, you know, want to score and score fast, and there's always those moments, and so just finding ways out in the field to kind of mesh up that timing. You know, we're going to miss some. Again, it's OTAs. That's why it's fun to be here. Really good turnout from the guys. So guys are out there working, and we're building that chemistry, and I think it's going to be a fun year.
The team has announced their themes for each home game this season, and we will be debuting our revamped fight song during the preseason opener against Carolina. Excited for that one, Shawn?
I'm very excited to hear what it is.
Yes, we are. Week 5 game against the Titans can be the annual Think Pink and Breast Cancer Awareness game, and fans will get their first look at the all-black uniforms against the Vikings in the Salute to Service game, Logan.
That's going to be pretty fantastic. Can't wait to see those.
And Week 17, we honor none other than the Hogs on Fan Appreciation Day against the Browns. Now, you can see the full list on commanders.com. Well, new faces are making big impressions in their first action with the team, which Commanders rookies are already making a splash. We'll have that after this quick break. One of the players grabbing the attention this offseason here in Washington has been first-round draft pick Johan Dodson. In just a few practices, the former Nittany Lion has already impressed his teammates and coaches with his crisp route running and large catch radius, getting fans excited about what is to come on game days.
You know, it looks like it's not too big for him. He's playing fast. He's consistently getting separation. He's catching the ball. You know, he doesn't say a lot. You know, he just kind of comes out here and works, which is good. You know, and you know, I think the guys like him. Carson, I know quarterbacks like throwing the ball to him. So just continue to have him work and get better. And there's a lot of different things we'll be able to do with him.
Just to see a young rookie come in and be so developed. You know, he's developed. He's running crisp routes. I'm very shocked how quick he's learned the offense. But at the same time, I'm just looking at it from a, you know, was a receiver and moved to a running back perspective. So, I mean, he was a receiver his whole life. He's doing incredible. You know, he learned the offense. He's flying around and making plays. You guys see him out there.
First of all, I like his route running. I think he runs very good routes. He's very precise with them, and he's got natural hands. It's just a matter now of him learning and developing and growing within the scheme, and really just refining his game. I mean, he knows how to act like a pro and be a pro, and so that's a really good thing. You know, he and I had a nice conversation when we first drafted him. He first came in, had a chance to talk to him about, hey, look, you know, you're the lead rookie. I mean, you're the guy that's going to set the tone for the group, and he seems to have adjusted very well and accepted that very nicely.
It's early on, but it's nice to be able to see that the expectations of what you would have with somebody drafted top 20 at that position is living so far up to them. But it is early. You've been out there watching Dodson doing his thing. Anybody else kind of standing out?
I mean, Johan obviously has been an absolute monster. You know, I loved him coming out, but he's kind of exceeded expectations for me. And I will say the entire rookie class has done an outstanding job of exceeding expectations. You know, you get Robinson playing in that big back role. He looked outstanding. I think Fedarian has done a nice job in terms of understanding double teams and keeping Cole clean, and Cole looks much better as a result of Fedarian's play. So like all the rookies have done an outstanding job for this group.
Shawn, when it comes to this part of OTAs, like you have the Dodsons and those guys that are drafted kind of like higher in the first top few rounds. What about the guys that are a little bit deeper? What do they need to do to try and kind of stand out and make a splash?
Well, the good thing about playing for a coach like Coach Ron Rivera, he talks about everybody they draft, they want to come out and compete. They get a chance to play on special teams. They get a chance to compete at receiver or tight end or defensive back. And so if I'm a rookie, I'm doing everything. I am not only thinking about how I compete at my position, but understand my role could be on special teams, how I make an impact, whether it's kickoff, punt return, punt, or kickoff return. Just do every aspect of the game that the coach asks you to do.
And Coach Rivera also says it doesn't really matter what your name is, what your contract is, where you're drafted. You will have your opportunities. So be ready, because your number will be called at some point. And I think that's really great because it does show the guys it doesn't matter where you're drafted. If you're playing good, you'll have that opportunity. So mandatory minicamp is coming up next. What happens? What is elevated from voluntary OTAs?
I mean, in my experience, it was just the speed. It just ticked up a little bit, right? Every stage just increases the speed a little bit. I think they can do one-on-ones, which is always a fun thing, right? Receivers against DBs, kind of evaluate some of that stuff. O-line versus D-line, that's always great to see. So just a little bit more competitive, a little bit faster.
And you get hit a little bit. You know, I don't know if the rules have changed, but, you know, for us, you're right, going back to thinking about one-on-ones, now you can get to see, like, all right, we kind of been shadowing each other in OTAs, and we kind of getting our feet wet by understanding the plays, but now let's see who can really compete and who can really get after it. I would love to see the guys go against the left tackles and the DBs and receivers go against each other.
Oh, it's heating up. It's getting real, and before we know it, the season is going to be here. For Shawn Springs and Logan Paulsen, I'm Julie Donaldson. Thanks for watching Command Center. We'll see you next time.